Good evening, everyone. Welcome to the 24th episode of ICC Biz Live, our knowledge show where we only have C-level people disbursing knowledge to us. Now, today our focus is health insurance. We have the MD and CEO of Narayana Health Insurance with us, Madam Sheela Anand. This insurance company is floated by Dr. Devi Shetty, the renowned cardiologist for your information. Now, I would request ma'am to introduce herself and this company. Ma'am, over to you.
Okay. Hi. Thank you for this opportunity. My name is Sheela Anand. I represent Narayana Health Insurance, an insurance company which has been launched by Dr. Devi Shetty, Narayana Group, and basically with the vision and mission that Dr. Devi Shetty actually has for everybody, and including how to cover the missing middle. So we are here, and I come with a background of being in the health sector, having formed a company called Vidal Health. I've been the founder member. And so that's about me in short.
And when was this company incorporated? How long are you in operation?
So we have been in operations for the last 1 year.
Last 1 year. Okay. Now, coming to health insurance, only 15% of India is covered by health insurance of a 140 crore population, of which government sponsored is 13%, 1% employer sponsored, and 1% privately owned. I mean, why this poor coverage? How can this be improved?
Okay. So as we keep talking, health insurance is something, as in when even if you ask anybody and everybody, and your close people whom you know. For example, if you take me, then I should, all the people closer to me should be like insured, right? But it doesn't happen like that. Health insurance, people believe a lot more in life insurance because you feel that it's a one-time payment and it comes back to you. Health insurance is not like that. Health insurance is a payment every year. People forget to cover themselves every year. But of course, insurance companies, IRDA has now mandated, and then we and made a lot of changes in the last 4 5 years. And because of that, we are ensuring to see that there is a lot of coverage that is available to people. There is all the insurance companies now also have to do something called as rural and social obligatory insurance. So we've been given panchayats and villages where we have to go and start canvassing for insurance and covering people. Basically, the aim and ambition is to be having more and more insurance people insured by 2047. So basically, we are all working towards that. There will be a lot of things that you will see that is happening. Like if you notice, we have also done a lot of GI Council has done a lot of work on this, and then now we have we've given a lot of advertisements. So basically, we're trying to bring in a lot more awareness on health insurance.
That's very good to hear. But ma'am, do you get any government support for this promotional exercise, or do you do it on your own?
Sorry, all the insurance companies contribute together and do it on our own.
Oh, do it on your own. So,
Yeah.
Okay, that's very good. Okay, what is the health insurance scenario abroad? Because we are
Health insurance scenario abroad, which you're asking, is like their health insurance for there your health is covered by the government itself, right? Where the entire thing is covered for you and it is free. But basically, if you see, I always generally feel what is available in India and what is ease of access of healthcare that is there in India is not available abroad anywhere, irrespective of different models that they have. So, for example, if you have to go to a GP doctor only, irrespective of what your ailment is. Only when they recommend, you can go to the hospitals. You cannot walk into the hospitals. For example, my son was having a back pain. He can't go take an X-ray. He can't go take a scan. He can't do anything. The GP will put him on an painkiller, and based on only if there is an emergency and hospitalization is when you can go. That is also because they can't handle so much of a volume in the hospitals. So emergencies only can go there. But yeah, the cost of healthcare is free there. Having said that, I would always say that India is coping up to a lot of things, and basically with the kind of facilities that are available and the kind of Ayushman Bharat schemes which is available, I think most of the people get covered in that. So the missing middle, people who afford a health insurance, is being taken care of. And that's the best part of the entire in India.
Okay. Now I will come to one. In several cases cited by policyholders, it took 10 to 12 hours after the patient was. No, before that, I have another question. Uh, Insurance cashless is very, very convenient. As nowadays, still in India, we have insurance postpaid. I mean, what is your why so? Why not everyone is going for cashless?
Okay. So let me explain this to you in detail. It's been now almost 25 years that the TPAs have come in, and the cashless concept came in with the TPAs. I have been fortunate enough to build a company which, was there from the beginning with the healthcare sector and health insurance companies. So the concept of cashless was very new, and now in the 25 years, it has evolved so much that if you take any group policy or even a retail, 50% to 60 to 60 to 65% of things happen in cashless. But if the because there is a network of hospitals which the person has to use. Now, if there is a network of hospital not available in any of the villages or any of the tier 2 cities or tier 3 cities, and if you have walked into that hospital, let's assume it's an emergency or an accident, then of course cashless is not available. So you come back to us as a reimbursement. So basically, when you go to the website of any company where you're having this entire concept, and you have this list of hospitals, have a look at those list of hospitals, and you can go to that nearby hospital so that you get cashless facility. I think that awareness has to come in people, and today there is a lot of awareness because we've created that cashless facility is available. So there is a lot of awareness, a lot of things have changed. People understand saying, you have to go to a network hospital to get a cashless facility.
I get it. So the hospital has to be linked to an insurance company. Otherwise, this facility will not be available.
Absolutely. Yeah. There is a network of hospitals that we tie up with. Only there, those hospitals you can get cashless.
I get it. I get it. Now, regarding discharge, in some cases cited by policyholder, 10 to 12 hours after the patient was ready for discharge for them, because the health insurance claim was taking time to get processed. Why so? Why cannot the claim be processed fast enough? And if, on weekends, maybe if the discharge is on a Sunday, will the claim be processed?
Okay. Dr. Ghosh, I would love to answer this. And basically, I've been answering this for years. Okay. So let us look at what happens in the cashless facility. Okay. During this, so you've gone to the hospital, there is a cashless request which is sent to the insurance company or the TPA. They look
Right.
at the paper, they look at the diagnosis on the paper, look at your coverages, and then they give you the approval for cashless. Okay,
Right.
that is the process. Now here the initial so obviously we still have to look at the document, what is the thing required, and so the first approval that happens to a patient usually happens in an hour or less than 2 hours. That is the initial approval. For example, if there is an ailment and 2 lakhs have been asked, the initial approval saying, okay, this claim can be paid. So we are initially authorizing about 30,000 or 50,000 or a lakh comes within an hour or two. Do we agree on that? Dr. Ghosh, have I lost you? Are you there? Have I lost you, doctor? Are you there on the call? Okay. Hello? Okay. So the question that you have asked me is about what happens and why is there a delay during the discharge. Now, we have never asked this question to the hospital. When the doctor comes in the morning rounds and tells you saying you can be discharged today, let's assume it is about 10 o'clock, 10:30, 11 o'clock. Now, when does this request get to the TPA? Basically, because the doctor has to sign the document or the discharge summary which has been made, and this has not been automated in the hospitals. So by the time the doctor completes the round and comes back, and the staff is waiting to take signature from the doctor, and then the authorization is sent to the TP or the insurance company. It almost takes 4 to 5 hours for them to send it to the TP. Now, if that is the case, there is a delay from the hospitals. I have been asking the hospitals for so many years to bring in a technology, or bring in a pen, or bring in something that it can be signed automatically by the doctor. But that has not happened. So about 5 hours delay happens in the hospital side. And then if you see, there is, of course, the once I have authorized, then there is just in the next level of authorization that a TPA or probably the insurance company has to do. That happens again next 1 to 2 hours. That doesn't take much time. But you see a lot of delay because those 3 to 4 hours or 5 hours is lost between the hospital sending the request to the TPA. So that is a delay that happens, and that is when we all feel frustrated and we feel, oh, it is the cashless facility is not working for us. The cashless is taking a lot of time. So basically, that is the reason for delay.
Got it, ma'am. And now some of the major issues faced by health insurance policyholders lack of full disclosure about exclusions and eligibility for claims in their policies. I mean, I have done, the question is, I have done a policy, but I am not eligible for certain claims, which is not clear in the policy draft itself. So, I mean, what are your comments on this?
So basically, when we buy a policy, how many of us actually read the policy? There are a lot of fine prints. We don't read it. If you notice now, IRDA has done the best thing. They have, tried to make the customer information sheet as a very precise and short one so that the customer understands it. And we have also made our wordings very simple in the insurance company. In the last 2 years, if you notice, all the wordings of the insurance companies have been made simple for a layman to understand it. What usually happens is the sale of health insurance happens through a third party. And when the third party comes to us, or when we are talking to the third party, we don't read those fine lines. A health insurance company, when they issue you a policy, if there are records of your health that you are already submitting to them, based on that, the underwriting will be done. Okay. When I talk about underwriting, it means that a coverage is given to you, and this coverage would saying all these ailments are covered for you, but for this 1, 2, 3 things, there is an exclusion. Usually, what happens is there are 2 types of exclusions. One is your pre-existing disease exclusion, okay, which is like you have diabetes, you have hypertension. Those are excluded for 1 year, 2 years, depending on the records that you submit. And there are specific ones. For example, I can take a health insurance policy and tomorrow go in for a knee replacement or a cataract. Okay, that is the reason there are these 2 conditions which are always present in the health insurance policies. And these are fine lines which we need to read. When we don't read them, and if somebody has told us saying that, "Acha, theek hai, aap policy le lo, aapko claim mil jayega," that is when we feel cheated, and that is when this entire thing comes up saying, humko claim mila hi nahi. So basically, that is where we all end up, feeling that health insurance is not effective at all. But if you read the fine lines and if you understand it, health insurance is very more comfortable, and lots of claims get paid. It is never that an insurance company wants to deduct and pay you. We are also scrutinized by IRDA. We also have audits. So there is no way that we are sitting here to not pay you the claim. We want to pay the claim, but we request a lot of people to have a more understanding about the policy.
Oh, so I mean, pre-existing diseases will also be covered, but after a certain time span.
Yes. There is always a waiting period, and in that, which means that, for example, I have had a fall. For me, let's assume diabetes and hypertension is not covered. But if I've had a fall, and because of that fall, I had to be hospitalized, that will get paid. but only the diabetic medicines might be discontinued for a year or two, whichever is the waiting period that has been allocated by the insurance company. But we think, oh, I have a we all think about buying a health insurance policy only when we have an ailment. And that is when we feel, oh, I want to buy a health insurance policy, but I'm not getting paid. My claim is not being paid. My claim is being rejected because, I mean, we can't, if there is something that is known, we cannot cover you for the known thing, right?
Right, right. So basically, health insurance and term insurance, you should go for the security purpose and not for the return purpose, isn't it?
Absolutely. Absolutely. So, Mr. Ghosh, Dr. Ghosh, I would just add it saying, I always tell people saying, please understand, you all spend so much of money to go onto a pilgrimage every year,
Yeah.
right? We all go to some place or the other. Irrespective of other holidays we go visit temples, we do. So we do a lot, we do pray, we do, put money in the hundi, we worship God. What about the returns? Are we asking them for the returns? Sometimes we're just standing there and thanking, but otherwise, we don't know about the returns. My point I always used to say, please think of this as something that you have done for yourself. Don't expect the return, because if you're expecting a return out of this, which means you're sick. And being sick is not good at all. Everything else can be handled than health. They always say health is wealth, right? It is a very old saying. As a child, I never understood it. But as we age, we understand it.
Now, so according to you, that nowadays the contracts are very much simply drafted. Earlier, there used to be a lot of technical jargons and complex words, and has this been completely done away with?
Yeah.
And also, and another thing, I mean, regarding the general insurance, some things were not covered because of act of God. I mean, is this act of God thing still prevailing? Or, I mean, that's not related to health insurance, but still, I would like to know about this act of God and use of technical jargons.
That's exactly what I was mentioning. The wordings have been simplified a lot. In fact, if you notice, more and more simplifications are happening on that. There is no act of God here. There is, for example, if you take an insurance company, we try to automate so many things. If you have taken a policy and you have had a waiting period of 2 years, on the third year, if you're going to claim your cataract, it will automatically allow. There is no human intervention or there is no act of God here. It is just a simple process. But if you come in the first year for a cataract, the system will obviously throw up saying, hey, no, what, the policy has been bought this year and the person has come for cataract. So it's not that somebody is sitting there or God is sitting behind that system and saying, isko pay kar do, isko pay mat karo, isko pay karo. The person has not clarified anything for me. No, it's not at all like that. It's an absolute simple process of understanding the policy from the user's end. Please, whenever you're taking a policy, please understand the wordings, which are very simplified now. And health insurance is basically for your hair, for any exigency that happened for you, whether it is surgical or medical, in that year. And every year you have to renew this policy. And I always advise saying, as young you are, you please take this policy, because the younger you take the policy, you would have, by the time you start wanting to do your claims, you would have aged in the system, right? Your policy details will be available with the insurer for years together. So obviously there will be no running away from this. Usko pay nahi karna hai, there is waiting period or there is no waiting period. So basically you will get a coverage. So the understanding has to happen on the consumer front to know and understand saying what are the terms and conditions in the policy. And health insurance is basically very simple. It just covers you for inpatient hospitalization. When you go to the hospital, it covers you. It covers the 30 days before anything that you have done as a, you do a checkup, you do a health checkup, you do a scan and anything. And then if there is a hospitalization in 30 days, the 30 days ka pehle wala gets covered. Then if there is also a coverage that is available for you 60 days post your hospitalization, your medicines are covered. These are first few simple things you need to understand. The other things that you need to understand and learn and read is basically is the what are the exclusion in the policy, and what is my this is even not even exclusion. What is the waiting period in my policy? And please declare as much as possible. Be honest as much as possible. That will never lead you to any trouble.
What is the co-pay concept in case of health insurance?
The copay concept is very simple. That if I go to a hospital and if in the hospital I have if the bill is about, let's for assume for it's about 1 lakh, and if there is a copay of 10%, you pay that 10%. The balance is paid by the insurance company. The copay is levied basically because you also will have the responsibility to check the bills and look at it. But mostly these copays are like very minimal, just about 10%, and there are waivers available for that also now. So you can look at those policies, but co-payment is something that you pay out of your hand. In the entire bill, 10% or 20% copay that is there in your policy will be paid from your hand.
Another thing which is coming out from the discussions with you, there is, and I have personally felt it also, that there is a knowledge gap. I mean, from the TPA side, and so if I have any problem with my TPA, right now I am personally having a problem. I renewed my medical policy 1 month now. I have yet to get my medical card. So who do I complain? Whom do I reach out to in the insurance company? If I have a knowledge gap with my TPA, because TPAs are not that educating people. That is a fact, I feel. Your thoughts?
So if you have not got your card and if there is a TPA, you have to contact the TPA only. Only the TPA can send you the medical card. But having said that, if you have a card of last year, your number will continue to remain the same because you have renewed the policy. So if your last year's card, your mostly what details you need is your customer ID, and your customer ID will continue to remain the same in the TPA system. So you can always take the same card and if there is any hospitalization. But if you haven't received your e-card, then you have to reach out to the TPA only or the insurance company, whoever is issuing you the card.
No, if I have any knowledge gap with my TPA, who do I reach out to? Is about the TPA?
About the TPA, you can reach out to the insurance company because the
Insurance-
TPAs are appointed by the insurance company.
Okay.
But I would like to understand, what do you mean by knowledge gap?
Knowledge gap is what I mean is what is covered, what is not covered. They don't give a clear picture. That is what I have felt. Like cataract operation, if done in a gap of 6 months, the first one will be 90% covered, but the second one will not be 90% covered. All these things they do not tell beforehand. They don't tell that you space out the operation with 1 year and then again you will get 90% coverage. All these things they do not give a clear picture. They're keen for me to sign the policy, to renew the policy. They chase me, but for wherever I have any doubt, because I have domain knowledge. But still I'm not an expert in the health sector. So when I need to clarify, the TPA sometimes is simply at a loss. That is what I mean. In any knowledge.
Dr. Rajeshri Ghosh, you made a statement in which there are two things. One, you're saying knowledge with the TPS is less, okay? But you also said saying they are very keen for me to sign the form for the sale to happen. Now, TPS don't sell the policy, they only service the policy. Okay. So who has sold you the policy? That is the time when it is more important. And who is servicing you in that policy? The TPA comes in basically once they get the details, they are able to publish the e-card and then they are able to give you all the other facilities, right? But when the sale is happening, the person who sold you the policy has to brief you all these terms and conditions. And that is
Oh,
where we are saying there is a lack of knowledge, because the salesperson who sells this policy himself is lacking that knowledge.
okay. The salesperson is different from the TPA. I understand. I understand.
Correct. Yeah.
And, now, what is the claim settlement procedure for claimants having multiple policies from more than one insurer? Let me elaborate. A colleague of mine had one health insurance covered by his office also, and also had a personal health insurance.
Yeah.
And his wife had an accident and was submitted to one hospital, and then later moved to one simple hospital, and because her condition became serious, was moved to another hospital. And so now the question is, will both, I mean, these two hospitals had different bills, so I mean, how will the private insurance and the company insurance, both these will cover this in what, and it will cover in what proportion, 50-50, or how? I mean, or they will take just take this much is my limit, and I will cover this hospital according to the policy coverage. I mean, how is this sharing done?
I'll explain that in simple language. So let's assume that I have a coverage for 5 lakhs from the insurance company. I mean, from my corporate. And I have an individual cover of 10 lakhs. Okay.
Okay.
In case of an ailment, when I go to the hospital, the bill is about 10 lakhs. Okay. So I can claim 5 lakhs from my company's policy, and I can claim the balance 5 lakhs from the individual policy that I have. And I can get cashless in both the facilities, both the policies. Basically, the once this 5 lakhs is exhausted in the existing coverage of the company's policy, the next one can be claimed in the retail policy. And if the TPA is the same, it is well, fine and good. If the TPA is different, then the hospital has to send the balance request to the other TPA, who can then authorize. So it is very easy. People having multiple policies can make a claim. One single claim, when it exceeds your sum insured, you can claim in the other one. Now, if I do it the other way, for example, I have a 5 lakhs cover for myself and my company covers me for 5 lakhs. And if I decide that in the first, my policy, 5 lakhs, I can claim, the balance amount can be claimed in the company's policy also. So it can happen vice versa. And that is provided the amount is exceeding. But if I have a claim which is of 2 lakhs, okay, and I cannot claim that 2 lakhs in insurance company of my company, and also in the retail policy that I have. So you cannot cover the same bill in 2 places. But if your bill is exceeding 5 lakhs in the coverage, and then you need further amount that needs to be paid to hospital, that can be taken from the other policy.
Okay.
Is that simplified to you?
That is very simply explained.
Yeah.
Now, post discharge treatment. Now health insurance policies are reluctant to cover post discharge treatment. I mean, is it? And they are reluctant to include consumables in coverage. And that is during treatment also. What do you mean by consumables in coverage? And post discharge treatment coverage? Can you explain on these things?
So the consumer, yeah. So see, as a consumer, when you look at it, you might be right, and you might be very clear in saying that, you know what, these consumables are one-time usage in the hospital. Okay, it could be a syringe, it could be a bandage, it could be a gauze, it could be any other small items. Those are one-time usage. Now, basically, this one-time usage things are become a non-medical because they can increase the cost of the bill. They can increase the medical cost, because it depends on the what the hospital says on the usage. or the cost of that one-time usage can become higher. So we've never been able to figure out, and then it is very clear that there are non-medical items which are not payable in the insurance policy. Having said that, because the inflation goes up, but having said that, now there are policies which are available with an additional rider. You can buy even the consumables that get paid. So I mean, the policies are available now, and there is also there are options in insurance companies where there is a hospital cash, which is also available as a rider. So if you buy a health insurance and you keep buying this rider, adding it to your health insurance, those can be used to cover your non-medical expenses.
Thank you, ma'am. All my knowledge gaps are getting cleared by you. I mean, but many people have access to people like you.
Yeah. Thank you.
Another question is a very similar question. In insulin pushing syringes and blood sugar random testing by glucometers are excluded from allowed insurance claims. Why so? Diabetes is a common disease.
Okay. Now, mediclaim insurance, which you buy for your retail policy, is basically for your admission. So when you get admitted into the hospital, the claim gets paid to you. Okay. Now, these items that you're talking about, for example, somebody has a sleep apnea, there is a machine. There is a machine that is available that for your own, like what you said, for measuring my diabetes, the glucometer, for measuring my blood pressure, there is a machine. Then for measuring my weight, there is a machine. For measuring my BMI, there is a machine. So many things that are available today, which are a necessity for us to take care of our health. Now, these are all things that are additional and they don't get covered into the health insurance policy. These are things that you need to buy for yourself, and these are things that you are using for yourself. And basically, these are things that will remain with you forever. And it depends on what brand you buy, what is the cost of that. So those don't get covered into your health insurance things. But whatever, like people don't notice that as I mentioned, 30 days prior to your admission and 60 days after your admission, the medicines get covered. So the doctor has written medicines in your discharge summary. Those get covered for that many number of days that he has mentioned. For example, you go to him for a review after 1 month and he says, okay, stop this medicine, the next medicines you take. So those get covered for 60 days. So the medicines are more important and those are genuinely required for a patient to have a good health and continue his day-to-day routine. And those get covered in the policy. These machines are not covered in the policy.
I understand. So basically, what I understand, if we get to know the riders while taking the insurance policy, it will help us a lot to know about what is being covered and
Yes.
what is not
Absolutely.
being covered. Now I'll come to one question on insurance premiums. This is again a case study. One lady had aged lady, more than 85-year-old, had a insurance coverage of 5 lakhs, and she was admitted, and insurance covered 90% of her costs, and only some nurse treatment was not covered. I mean, maybe that was treated as a consumable, whatever. But after discharge, when she went to renew the policy, premium was increased by 30%. Is that due to age or due to the fact that she made a claim? What could be the reason? I mean, I'm not naming the company because I want to know.
No, while we understand the question that you're asking, the reason could be both. One could be because of the age, or because, see, what happens is there is an age bracket. Okay. So again, we lack of knowledge. What happens is you have a age bracket. Let's assume there is a bracket 50 to 55, 56 to 60, 61. So maybe that lady moved from 85 from one bracket to another bracket.
Okay.
So if she moves from one bracket to the another bracket, there will 100% be an increase in the premium. Because for the next 5 years, you're going to stay in that premium.
Okay. So once you move to another bracket, your premium increases and it stays for a certain period of time.
Correct. That is one. If there is a claim, also there could be an increase. But I'm just saying that this could be basically because she moved from one set of age to the next set, and that is why 30% increase. But having said that, IRDA has brought in a rule and saying that the senior citizens and above, especially 18 above, people's increase in the premium cannot be more than 10 to 15%. So that has been already bought in, and most of the insurance companies are trying to implement that as well. So it's not that the IRDA is not listening. Everybody is listening to every consumer, and whatever changes that are required to be done. And health insurance is evolving, so a lot of changes that are required to be done are happening, and you will see a lot of changes coming further, and lot of we are trying to cover a lot of people as well.
Very educated man. Now another case study. This is an example of a lady, aged lady, while doing insurance policy, had hidden the fact that she had COPD. What your full form is chronic obstructive pulmonary disease.
Yeah.
And the factor is it was only 6 months she had taken the policy, and she was admitted for a pneumonia and urinary tract infection, and her claim was totally rejected on the ground that she had hidden the fact that she had COPD. But pneumonia is a bacterial infection, and so is UTI a bacterial infection. So why was the claim rejected? Is it because of 6 months, or how could a bacterial infection be linked to COPD?
Okay. Dr. Ghosh, you mentioned two things. One was COPD, one you also mentioned about urinary tract infection.
Right.
Okay? Now, if it was an urinary tract infection, that would have got paid. Okay. But here, what is COPD? COPD is something like, you already have your air sacs are narrowed down. And
Right.
because of your air sacs which are narrowed down, your lungs are not able to bring out or breathe out the unwanted germs and bacteria which are already present. The space is very less. And you are already struggling with it, not only now, but for years. You are aware that you have a COPD. Now, because of COPD, the person will always have this cough, cold, infection, and everything. Okay. Now, unfortunately, as when she has not declared that she has a COPD, because if you declare there is a COPD, there is a waiting period which is always put in the policy. Basically, because this will lead to infections, and these infections lead to pneumonia. Okay, so we are aware that if COPD is declared, then yes, this is in this next 1 year to 2 years, she will get some ailment related to breathing and all those things, and that is when this exclusions, not exclusion, waiting period is applied. Now, since she is not declared, and then she's gone to a hospital maybe for treatment, this claim has got rejected because this was not disclosed. And again, that is what I said even in the beginning of this discussions, that please ensure when you're taking a policy, please declare all the ailments. You might have a 1 year, 2 year waiting period, but over a period, you will get a coverage for that as well. It's not going to be excluded. But when you don't declare, this becomes a cause of concern for all of us, saying that the declaration was not done and now the claim has been rejected. So the world will see it saying the health insurance company does not pay it. But we are not seeing the very fact that this was not declared.
So if she appeals to the insurance ombudsman, I think the ombudsman will rule in favor of the company only.
No, not necessarily. The ombudsman is very neutral. The ombudsman is present because they have to take a stand towards the insured. Having said that, what happens in this kind of cases is that we just need to have, as an insurance company and TPA, we have to go find out from when she has been having this treatment. So we go trying to find out from the neighborhood medical shop, from everywhere else, for how long she's been having. This all will come up, right? So if the insurance company or the TPA proves that she has been having this for the last so many years, you also stand a chance that the policy will get cancelled. So it's always better to declare your ailments, take a cover for them with the waiting period.
Absolutely. Honesty is the best policy. That is what we are teaching.
Yeah.
Teaching. And now, one last question before we open the floor. Do health insurance companies going for reinsurance as
Yes.
their
Yes. We all go in for insurance.
100%?
No. A percentage of it is mandatory. So that is what we do. But most of us take insurance coverage.
Okay, now the floor is open for audience to ask questions. Yeah, somebody has said hello. Ask your question, please.
Yeah. They can only
Sir,
chat. And
no, sir. Put your question, sir. Sir, we are waiting for your question.
meanwhile, we can have any other questions.
No. No. The only other question we had is not yet my.
Other questions, we are giving lakhs of rupees for health insurance, but many of us don't get full support from insurance company. Is there any authentic customer care number or email ID? Is this been asked by you? Okay. So,
No, not me. By somebody.
okay. So, every insurance company will have their customer care number and email ID. Each insurance company is different, so you have to write to them. But if your grievance is not solved, then you can always write to the portal which is there in IRDA.
The ombudsman is there
No,
in IIT.
you can write to the IRDA. There is a portal and grievance mechanism in IRDA. The moment you write to them, you will get a response in 24 to 48 hours from the insurance company, because you have to tag the insurance company and put your grievance there.
Okay. The other question which I have to, which is still not clear, is that waiver of GST on health insurance and life insurance.
Yeah, we'll just wait for it to come onto the papers. I think basically most of us have recommended saying the GST be removed. So we're just waiting for the exact details.
There are contradictory thoughts. Some are saying the cost will go up. Some are saying it will go down. I mean, the picture is not very clear. So let's wait for it.
Sure. Yeah, we will wait.
Any more? Media person is saying that we can get other questions later. Any other question, or else we will close the conversation now, because our statistic 45 minutes is over. Okay, ma'am, it seems there is no other question. So, and we have already sent the request for article to you from the editor of Economic.
Yeah.
I believe I got it.
I have received the mail. Yeah.
Also request you to send it by next month, so that we can come out in the with your photo and profile, and so that we can come out in the October issue.
Sure. Okay, I'll send you.
Okay, ma'am. Thank you. Now we'll sign up.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Bye.